Hi, this is Eric Edmeades, and this is one of 4 videos that I'm recording in advance of my first ever Nordic tour. I am so excited. Elevate is bringing me to a city near you. Here's why I'm excited. I am really passionate about entrepreneurship. In fact, frankly, I believe that the entire economic recovery of the world hinges on entrepreneurship, not on governments, not on big business, but on you and me. Now, let's talk about that, because you see, so many people in my experience anyway, business owners start their companies believing that being a business owner is going to earn them more free time to spend with their family, on their health, and it's going to make them more money. Okay? Well, it's true that that could be the case, but most often, if a business owner is lucky enough to be one of those business owners that makes it through the gauntlet of the first few years, if they're lucky enough to get that far, they've generally done it by working harder than they ever imagined. They've done it often by earning a lot less money than they would earn if they just went and got themselves a job, because they're subsidizing their companies. That's not what really being a business owner is all about. It isn't. That's about self-employment. What I want to talk to you about is being a business owner. I want to talk to you about business freedom. So I want to, my own experience of that, my first client was me. And I started my business exactly with those illusions, that being a business owner would give me a lot of independence and freedom and make me a lot of money. And 3 years in, I was working unbelievable hours. My health was suffering. My family was suffering. I wasn't making good money at all. Everything was difficult. And then I made some shifts, really powerful shifts. I've been heavily influenced by people like Tony Robbins, Chet Holmes, Michael Gerber, Stephen Covey. And you know, those people got me making little shifts in my business. And over the next couple of years, my business would radically turn around to the point that after about 6 years of ownership of the business, remember, 3 years in, I'm really suffering. If I'd known this stuff earlier on, I don't think it would have taken 6 years. But for me, at that 6-year mark, one day I realized I didn't have to go to work. I can't tell you what that was like. I woke up and it's like, you know, it's irrelevant whether I go. I mean, sure, I might have a meeting scheduled here or there, but even those meetings, I don't need to be at them. It was such a liberating experience. I started traveling more, enjoying life more, and I got to the point where the last couple of years I owned the business, I was hardly ever there. In fact, when I sold it, and I sold it well, when I sold it, the buyers had a contractual a requirement of me that I'd be available for a year after the sale. They called me twice. And the only reason they called me was there were a couple of passwords from systems that weren't documented somewhere. Other than that, the business ran without me. It didn't require me being there. Now think about that. If your business doesn't require you to be there, then you're able to work on it. You're able to do the research that will allow you to innovate and stay well ahead of the game. You won't be playing catch up, being reactive, basically following your competitors. You can lead the way because you're not stuck on the day-to-day internal operations of your business. You can be dealing with genuine challenges as they come up, and you can be dealing with forward thinking. So one of the things that we're going to cover during the Business Freedom Tour is the concept of icebergs. Now, I mean business icebergs. So here's an example. The first time I ever saw a business iceberg, I was 18 years old. I was a big fan of the rock group Aerosmith, and I needed to get their new CD. They'd gotten back together and they'd produced a new CD, and I went to go get it. Only back then it wasn't a CD, was it? It was a vinyl record. And I walked into the store to buy this vinyl record, or maybe a tape, and I saw CDs for the first time. These little silver discs that would end up being basically the death rattle of the entire record album business. And what was amazing about that was that, look, when 8-track tapes came along, everybody thought, oh, records will be over. They weren't over. And then when small cassettes came along, they thought, oh, that's the end of records. No, they survived. But they didn't survive the CD. They didn't even come close to surviving the CD. It was months and they were gone. And I remember at 18 years old thinking to myself, wow, I mean, what about all those jobs and all those business owners and all the money that was invested? It was terrifying to me. And from that day forward, my view of business, whether I was an employee, when I owned my own businesses, or certainly when I'm working and standing on the deck of my clients' ships, their companies, I am always looking for icebergs. But let's remember this. If you are working in the business every day, if you are in your org chart all over the place doing different tasks and responsible for different outcomes and constantly fighting fires, you will not be on the deck to see the icebergs. This is dangerous for 2 reasons. One is icebergs can come along and wipe out your industry in a heartbeat, or your business in a heartbeat. That can happen. It happens all the time. The pace of change has sped up so dramatically that it's no longer this slow process. It can happen in a heartbeat. But here's the other problem. Often icebergs present the single biggest opportunity for your business, because in other people's lack of recognizing the iceberg, if you recognize it and you come up with a solution to it, you are the innovator. And the only way you can be the innovator, a really solid innovator, is if your business doesn't require you to do individual things within it. It allows you to work on it. Business freedom is all about your freedom. And so that's why I'm coming to your city. So watch the next 3 videos, register for one of the seminars, and I look forward to meeting you in person.